Hello and welcome to Connected, episode 4-something-2. I'm your usual charming British host, James Thompson, and I've been instructed by connectedintro.com/triple-J to introduce everybody's favourite Big Apple buddy, Mr. John Voorhees.
Hey, James, it's good to talk to you in this holiday season. I'm here sitting in North Carolina having some barbecue and a few drinks while we chat about the holidays. But before we really get into this, I want to introduce my favorite co-host, Mr. Jason Snell.
John, thank you. I don't know why I'm not anybody's favorite Big Apple buddy. I mean, is it worse to ship from California than from North Carolina? Do you have like proximity to Europe going for you, John? I'm
right by the ocean practically. You know, I'm like
just put it in a bottle and shove it out into the ocean. It'll get there.
Sometimes it takes that long.
Don't you have to be next to the Big Apple? I thought that's how it worked.
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting idea. I will admit that I absolutely hate shipping things, so maybe that's why people don't ask me, because I hate it.
I have a shipping guy.
I have boxes in my office that I've been meaning to ship back for like a month, and they're just still here because I don't want to go to the UPS store. They're very nice there. They're like literally the Amazon stuff. You just throw it at them and like here, and you leave. Right.
Right.
I don't think they like me throwing boxes at them, but I do it.
No, that's the nice thing about those boxes that have the pre-printed labels. It's great stuff. You know, I mean, like I ship our awards every year, and I got to fill everything on triplicate for everybody who lives outside the U.S.
Yeah, it's true. I ship your awards too, John. I'm so happy that they're finally together. I believed it all along. It does not feel like it's been a whole year since we did one of these, but we are. I mean, the Pickies episode, that's what I mean. We're here every week, but it doesn't feel like it's a whole year since we did this. But before we get to the Pickies, which we will be doing, our special Pickies episode, it is time first for our traditional Connected Christmas gift exchange. And as I've been instructed by connectedintro.com/exchange, it's time for me to introduce the Triple J gift exchange, where we give each other presents. See, that wasn't so hard. I don't know why the website tells me that I have to do that every time. Anyway, James, can you get us started with our traditional gift exchange?
I have something which I've hand selected for you. It is a page of an original pencil-drawn artwork from an issue of the Rom and the Micronauts comics that came out in 2018 or something like that.
Yes,
but is remarkably affordable.
Well, James, thank you. You know me so well. And with that said, I'll just point out the reason it's so affordable is this is one of those latter day. We picked up the rights and made comics that don't have any of the original characters in it, but have the licensed toys in it. So it's a very nice gift. But that's why it was so cheap. I'll just explain. That's why it's so cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I did look at
the lesser series.
You can get some of the original stuff, but it's like $10,000.
Yeah. I actually have a page of Micronauts that I got a Comic-Con for what I thought was an exorbitant amount of money, but it turns out not so much.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This is great, James. Thank you. I look forward to a big Scotland buddy sending it my way. I guess it's my turn in the round robin next. John, I want to take you back to a magical time. It was the Super Bowl a few years ago, and everybody was really excited to see Rob Lowe in the crowd at the Super Bowl. And they're like, oh, it's TVs and movies Rob Lowe. I wonder what team he's a fan of. And then as they zoomed in on Rob Lowe, you noticed that he was wearing a hat, a branded hat with the NFL logo on it. Nothing says I'm not really a fan, but am here at an NFL event, like wearing the logo of the league and not of a team. And with that in mind, and the fact that my beloved Cal Bears are going to be joining your region's premier sports conference, inexplicably, the Cal and Stanford are joining it, the Atlantic Coast Conference, I have decided to celebrate this, John, by getting you straight from the ACC's website, shop.theacc.com, a ACC conference logo t-shirt. So you can say, I am a fan of administrators of a conference of schools that have teams that people are fans of. I hope you appreciate it. It's gray. That feels appropriate in some way. Don't really offend somebody with a color that might be for a team. Just make it gray. So a gray t-shirt is winding its way to you.
This is a wonderful gift. I thank you so much, Jason. I mean, this is not the kind of t-shirt you can just, go get anywhere. You can't go down to your local shop and buy an ACC t-shirt. You have to go to this really special website to get this t-shirt. And, you've also educated me with this gift because I had no idea that the Cal Bears were coming to the ACC before this, because I've kind of fallen off the ACC bandwagon. Even though my oldest son went to Berkeley, I had no clue about this.
Well, this t-shirt's going to put you in the mood for the ACC, John.
I'm excited. You'll be able, from now on, you'll be able to watch your football games, your basketball games over breakfast, because most of the games that your Cal Bears are going to be playing are going to be early morning in California.
I love morning sports. It's great.
I did misread this. I thought it was an AAC t-shirt, and I thought it was like an audio format thing.
Sure. Well, I mean,
it's very similar.
John, it'll go well with your MP3 sweatpants. So.
Right.
John, what do you have for James?
All right. So, it's the holiday season, and I've been revisiting a bunch of holiday classic movies. And so I thought I would get James the Jelly of the Month Club because, Christmas Vacation. I was watching it, and, Clark Griswold, he was anticipating that he would get a big bonus, but instead he got a Jelly of the Month Club. And I think he seemed really happy about it. And I think that James, too, will enjoy the gift that keeps on giving all year long, the Jelly of the Month Club.
So I have a question. When you say jelly, which kind of jelly? Are we talking American jelly or British jelly?
Well, I sent you a certificate, James, in our show document.
It doesn't help. There's a little pod on it that says jelly.
This is a pod that's a little bit like the creamers you get at a coffee shop. Mm-hmm. That is exactly how the jelly comes in some coffee shops too, James. This is jelly as in a gelatinous fruit spread that goes on your muffin.
So
your
jam.
Bread.
It's a Jam of the Month Club, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
jam's fine. A little in our lingo. Jam is much chunkier than jelly. Jelly is more kind of uniformly consistent, like Jell-O, but for bread.
So jelly is Jell-O here.
Right.
Just to confuse
So I think you're
matters.
going to be getting some sort of preserves, a very gelatinous
Some
preserve.
fruit-based, sugar-based.
12 different ones, James, though. I mean, we're not just talking about raspberry and strawberry and like marmalade here. We're talking about we're going to get, you're getting mango, you're getting all sorts of different flavors.
Boysenberry, lingonberry,
All the
ginger.
berries.
All of them.
Maybe.
Well, I look forward to finding out what January is.
Okay, James, you're up.
Yep, it is me. And John, I think something kind of like with as much thought into it as your present for me. I'm getting you an empty cardboard box. It's the exact size and shape of the packaging for an Apple Vision Pro, complete with a prepaid shipping label addressed to my house. And inside the box, there is a t-shirt in your size that says Big Apple Vision Buddy.
Very nice. I appreciate that. I've got a lot of t-shirts coming my way, plus a cardboard box. So, I mean, I got that going for me too. And
You have cats.
And
Cats love a cardboard box.
They do. It's too bad. I'm going to have to get a cat now too, I guess. I don't have a cat yet, but now that I have a cardboard box, it's the only logical thing to get. And
do check that there is not a cat in it when you ship the box.
I will try not
And
to
you
ship
should
a
name your
cat to you,
cat
James.
Heath, after another multimedia format.
Oh, well, this is a really big surprise. I mean, I have a feeling that a lot of my friends in Europe are going to want me to be their Big Apple Vision Buddy too. But you know what, James, you're at the top of my list. You've been a good boy this year.
That.
Do you think that Apple is going to track like people who are hoarding Apple Vision Pros? Like, are they going to be like Voorhees? We can't sell any more to Voorhees. That's like 4.
Yeah, no.
The guy bought 5 Vision Pros. What's he doing with them? Right, and then they investigate.
He's got a big family. They all want one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm just going to travel the Southeast U.S., going to every Apple store and buying one at every store, and then driving them back and sending them with my guy Mike at the shipping place. Yeah, it'll be,
Getting
I'll be fine.
custom eye inserts for various prescriptions, and when they put them on you, you're like, "Yep, totally can see that."
Yeah.
You have to wear some padding on your head to emulate a larger head. little masks. Are you going to do I don't know how it's going to work, but I look forward to the sponsoring.
I'm working on the logistics right now, Jason. But let me tell you, Jason,
Okay.
I've got something for you this holiday season.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I do. Returning to the sports theme and the fact that your Cal Bears are now part of Tobacco
Atlantic
Road.
Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, Atlantic Coast Conference. I've got you a tailgate kit, complete with a full barbecue spread. We've got for you here, we've got pulled pork with a great Carolina vinegar-based sauce.
Nice.
We've got hush puppies. We've got fried pickles.
Great.
Fried pickles, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And
what
grits.
can make pickles better is fry them. And grits. Now that's Southern.
Grits.
That's
grits.
Southern.
I'm a big fan of the grits. So that's all for you for your first Duke Cal game.
Sure. That's right. Karen Healy and I will be facing off this is great. I'll also point out that that the tailgate culture at Cal is so spectacular that often you can find people standing in a multi-level parking lot, which and just soaking in the no sun, just in a parking lot. Anyway, we got to work on that.
There's some confusion in the chat room about hush puppies. Hush puppies are not shoes. Hush puppies are in fact food.
Yeah,
they are balls of cornmeal that are deep fried,
yes,
and anything that's deep fried is good. And cornmeal, yeah, absolutely, it's a great thing. I had some jalapeno hush puppies just last night.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I love barbecue and I love Southern food so much that if I did not live in California, I would probably be dead already from mass consumption of brisket. And
there is a big
puppies.
problem of moving to the South, Jason, which is that food is everywhere.
I know. I got to stay away.
And here I am.
I know.
I did think also shoes on hush puppies because it is a brand of shoes.
It
in the
is.
UK. But I don't know what grits are. It sounds unpleasant, like something you would spread on a driveway.
It's a coarsely ground corn meal that is slow cooked, and it can be either like white corn or yellow corn. And then what you put in it, you always put butter in it because butter, everything's better with butter on it. But you can mix in some cheese, kind of have it as a side dish to a meal. You could put in some honey or some brown sugar for a little sweetness for breakfast. It's good all the time.
Its closest analog is polenta, but it's not
very
the
close
same.
to polenta.
But it's similar. It's Southern polenta.
I mean, the sort of Southern cuisine and the Scottish cuisine seem to involve both a lot of deep frying. So I think we have a common ground.
We do. We can meet in the middle at fried Oreos.
Yeah.
All right. I will round us out. James, I have a present for you. I know that you took to my present last year of the curling lessons so much, but I want to focus it on your professional development now. Because
I appreciate that.
We did an episode of Upgrade a few weeks ago where you made the shocking to some admission that PCalc basically was because you wanted an interesting project, but that you're not actually somebody who loves maths, as you say.
It is true.
So I am going to help you out. Coming your way from Amazon.co.uk is a DK hardcover for kids called "What's the Point of Maths?" And
I have wondered about that.
Maths Make the World Go Round, an educational book that will give you surprising answers to everyday maths challenges, unpacking how maths is an essential part of our everyday life in ways you never thought of. So I think, James, after you read What's the Point of Maths, you're going to be more centered as a person, and you're going to understand how much good you put out into the world by doing PCalc. That's my plan.
Well, I do appreciate that you went for a UK one that has maths rather than math.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I didn't want it to be confusing for you.
Yeah. This book also apparently promises magic tricks. Those
will be in the about box before you know it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to pivot to being a magician.
Oh, very nice. I like that idea. I like it a lot.
I think these are our best presents yet.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to move on to the Pickies now, but we do have an ad, and I'll point this out, same as last year. The suits at Relay FM don't let us read the ads anymore ever since the incident
Look, all I said was that capitalism was a bad idea, and you don't need to buy anything to be truly happy.
Yeah, well, so instead, here's one of those suits to read you an ad.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Notion. Notion combines your notes, documents, and projects all together in one beautiful space. And navigating that space is easier than ever thanks to Notion's new feature, Q&A. Q&A is an AI assistant that can answer questions about next quarter's roadmap, find that marketing campaign proposal you're looking for, or dig up a long lost link, all in seconds. Over on Mac Power users, we've moved our entire production flow into Notion because it's really easy to make a document combined from different components. So we have topics and sponsors and membership topics, and all of those can live in their own places, and we can pull them in and build an episode really easily. And with Notion AI, I can easily find things maybe we've talked about in the past because I imported our entire episode history in there as well. It's really cool. And the AI uses information from across your wiki, projects, docs, and meeting notes, looking at everything you have in Notion to serve you best. If you have an urgent question you normally turn to a coworker to answer, just ask Q&A instead. It'll search through thousands of documents in seconds and answer your question in clear language, no matter how large or complex your workspace is. Plus, you can trust that your data is secure because Notion AI is designed to protect your information. No AI models are trained with your info, the data is encrypted, and answers will never use information from pages that you don't have access to. So try Notion AI for free when you go to notion.com/connected. That's all lowercase letters, Notion, Notion, notion.com/connected. The link is in the show notes. Go try the powerful, easy to use Notion AI today. And when you use our link, you're supporting our show. So go to notion.com/connected. Our thanks to Notion for the support of the show and Relay FM.
We're back from that, whatever that was. We didn't hear it. We don't know. The Pickies. It's time for the Pickies, our annual contest we do, where we pick what will happen next year and also grade what we thought would happen this year. Please stand on one leg for the reading of the Pickies Charter, most recently amended on Jason Voorhees Day, which of course is the first Friday the 13th of the year.
Of course.
That was January 11th, 2023. There will not be another Jason Voorhees Day until September of next year. So we will have to amend our rules next September. But let's get started with the rules. There are two types of Pickies, annual Pickies and WWDC Pickies. No other Pickies shall ever be introduced.
The winner of the annual Pickies is named Grand Admiral Pinkerton and retains the title for a full year.
The WWDC Pickies winner is named the Apple Park Prince, that was one we renamed, and retains the title until the next WWDC is held.
Order for annual Pickies and WWDC Pickies is based on the winner of the previous year.
The winner goes second. The losers flip a coin to determine who goes first and who goes third. Jason is the only person who is allowed to flip a coin and cannot use any apps to do so. James is the only person who is allowed to roll dice. John, that's me, may use any other method of generating random numbers that he wants.
Oh, that's special. Special thing.
Yes.
For a pick to earn any points, everything written down in the prediction document for that specific pick must come true. We changed that one after I tried to invalidate the entire contest last year when I lost.
Yeah, it's true. It sounds like you. Because James tried to introduce irrational numbers and crash the entire Pickies, there are now no half points or fractional points awarded in any round except when grading in the event of a tie.
And 3 points are awarded for any pick deemed correct in the first round.
2 points are awarded for any pick deemed correct in the second round.
1 point will be awarded for correct picks in the lightning round, our longest round.
Any pick that comes true in the first half of the year is worth double.
Your total percentage expressed as a fraction of wrong answers will be multiplied by 5 and deducted from your final score. All calculations are performed using IEEE 754 floating point numbers, not integers.
Very important. The two other hosts must agree that one of your picks is not obvious, one is pretty cool, and one is quite sneaky.
Every pick has to be related to Apple or the tech industry.
No picking things that the picker of the pick could make come true by themselves or by inducing others, including taking a job at Apple or learning how to hypnotize people by becoming a magician.
This is the only reason we don't work at Apple, any of us, really.
Yeah, because we want to be Grand Admiral Pickerton. No picking things that are not provably true or false. Whether or not you can prove a negative is best left for the philosophers.
No altering the prediction document after the show is over. We all remember what happened in 2020, 2021, and 2022, and even last week.
Yes, that's right.
And we have a big new introduction here, so I think we should split this one up between us.
Okay.
So in the event of a tie, all ties will be broken by the following procedure. Each lightning round pick deemed incorrect will receive a coin flip. If the coin is tails, the incorrect pick will be regraded by the host who is not in a tie.
The regrading shall be judged on the following criteria. 1. Passion, up to half a point. 2. Precision, up to 1/3 of a point. 3. Wildcard, up to 1/4 of a point.
After all regrading of wrong answers is completed, the scores will be recalculated and the winner will be proclaimed.
So in the event of a three-way tie, a three-sided die will be rolled. The winner of a coin flip between the two current non-winners of the Pickies will choose the numbers for all hosts, and the host whose number is rolled on the three-sided die will be eliminated. The tiebreaker will then proceed. I think we can all agree this is very simple.
Pretty simple stuff. Pretty basic baby
straightforward,
stuff.
as usual.
Like you do on the playground.
Yeah. And after scoring is complete, each host must place the official Pickies refrigerator magnets in the proper configuration on the refrigerator for next year. Winner at the center of the door, second place lower left corner, third place lower right corner. Failure to produce evidence of a properly secured magnet will result in immediate disqualification.
It's true. It's true. All right. What's on the line here? The winner of each competition is given access to the Relay.fm CMS and will have to post the show until the next winner is revealed. The losers of the competition will have to take turns doing the edit of the show each week.
Yeah,
wow.
That's the worst.
That's tough stuff. Tough stuff. All right. Time to score the 2023 Pickies. The first round, worth 3 points. John predicted that a MacBook Pro will be updated.
Woohoo! Not only did I get this right once,
you got it right
this right
twice. Although you don't get the pick
you
twice.
You don't get the points.
Because come on, guys, come on.
But
how often does a wish come true twice?
It's kind of amazing. 6 points because it happened the first half of the year too. So you really maximized your total here, but you don't get it to happen twice.
All right.
James picked that the Mac Pro will finally be introduced. We thought he was mad by making this claim, but not only did he get it right, he got it right in the first half of the year. James,
yep,
look at you.
It was introduced and then promptly forgotten by everyone.
I think this puts you at your highest point total in the history of the Pickies. Just one pick. One pick in.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right.
This was a very good round because Jason then picked that the Mac Mini will get an update. And of course, he was right in the first half of the year.
It's true. We maxed out here, everybody. We did 6, 6, 6. Nothing wrong with that. That's a perfectly good set of numbers. Okay. So we're tied at 6, and we move on to the second round, which was worth 2 points each, and of course double if it was in the first half of the year. I think we did pretty good here too. Yeah. And
John chose that Apple would release Logic or Final Cut for the iPad. And they did. And they did it in the first half of the year. So that's
And in
4
fact,
points.
I got both. So actually I should get double points,
it's
right,
one
guys?
pick.
John,
we're gonna need language in the rules, I think, for this. That no matter what happens with your pick, you don't get it those points more than once.
All right. Well, I will tell you that I did not think this was actually going to happen, and it happened in early May, and so I was kind of shocked.
It is kind of amazing. John, I will say also we're being a little kind to you because that word "or," I don't know.
Yeah, Jason, you're such a lawyer.
You could interpret it as being that it's one or the other, and they did both.
And
but
not
I'm going
both,
to let
yes.
it go because we're not going to count double points, but we're going to let these go. I think it's the most fair result. And as we know, despite our lengthy rules process, it is a very fair and gentlemanly sort of
You are so kind, so kind.
James chose another real stretch of a pick. Apple will introduce a mixed reality headset, and improving if you pick it every year, eventually you might be right.
Yes.
And WWDC continuing to be in June means that it's a double score, and you get 4 more points for 10, James. 10!
I know. I mean, the only thing that could be even more impressive is if your next pick came true as well, and you picked that there will be a bigger MacBook Air. And there was. And it happened in the first half of the year.
Amazing.
4 points. So we're all at 10.
10.
We're all perfect 10s.
We are.
Which is what I'm hearing.
I hear that all the time. And
It's
that
very
leads us
Dudley Moore.
to our lightning round, where we get 1 point each, and of course double if it's in the first half of the year. And this is where our wonderful correctness of our main picks got a little bit askew. So in round 1, John picked Apple will increase the free storage tier for iCloud. Again, a pick you could pick every year for the last 12 years and never get it right.
Right.
James,
what was I thinking?
I don't know. You're just look at the end of the year, cockeyed optimist. Who's like, oh, next year's going to be the best year ever, and then you do stuff like this, and this is
right.
Can lose you the pickies.
Insert Lucy pulling away football cartoon labeled with iCloud.
Absolutely.
James picked Apple will announce their own social network based on ActivityPub.
Yeah, I was just too hyped up on the Fediverse at this time last year. And I thought, I mean, we are seeing like lots of people are starting to embrace it. And, like Threads is starting to roll things out now.
Sure.
But Apple is still burned after Ping. And that's it. No more.
Yeah, replace Apple with Meta and you would have been golden, James. But no dice.
No. My choice was Apple's classical music thing finally arrives. That's all I said, classical music thing. And I think we can all agree it was something. And it arrived
It was a thing.
in the first half of the year. So that's 2 points for me, putting me in the lead with 12.
So, John, you picked that Apple is going to release a new or updated accessory for the iPad. And that was indeed correct.
John, you got this by the thinnest margin ever.
Barely.
Anything new for the iPad in 2023 is ridiculous, but technically that USB-C Apple Pencil is. And I'm glad you said updated accessory because we might have had to fight about it, but it's like, okay.
Yeah, this is really it accessory for all of 2023.
That's the
that was
literally
the one iPad thing.
The year in iPad, a weird pencil. That's it. But it's good, and it was second half of the year, so you got 1 point. But that's still kind of amazing. That I don't know about you guys, but I check these picks every so often. I'm like, oh, how's it going with the Pickies? And I laughed at this pick, and then that pencil came out, and I was like, John,
curses.
I'm just glad that all the iPad teams got a year off. It was quite.
It's nice. I mean,
we
know how far ahead they work. Their year off
all.
was 2021, but I'm glad they got that year off.
My pick in this was I said that Apple would sell their mixed reality headset to consumers by the end of the year, and I was not correct. I mean, I think Apple possibly expected me to get this pick, but it didn't happen, and it hasn't happened yet. And whether it happens in the UK is still touch and go next year. So we'll see. I think they've made about 3 of them, and they will be selling them,
to John.
To me.
Yes, John will buy the entire run.
Yep.
I'm going to be the entire gray market of Vision Pro.
Your global Vision Pro buddy. That's you.
This is my my side hustle.
You're a preferred reseller of Vision Pro.
I am.
Jason's pick was that an Apple executive will be present at the awarding of a trophy for a sporting championship.
Okay. Let me explain myself here. I was thinking they were so hyped up about the MLS that either at the MLS Cup or at that the League Cup that they did with Liga MX from Mexico, that there would be something where like we'd see Eddie Q or somebody in the background. And I'm gonna admit, I scoured the websites of various sports and photography outlets for any sign that an Apple executive was present somewhere in one photo at the trophy award ceremonies for the MLS Cup and for the other cup, and I couldn't spot somebody. So I tried. I tried.
It could have been true. I mean, like, present is a very wide term here,
right?
Like,
and who would blame you after Tim Cook's wonderful waving of the flag at F1?
Right. I felt like they'd just be in the room, not like handing the trophy or something, but they'd be in the room, and they were not. As far as I can tell, I can't validate this, so I have to let it go.
All right. Well, let's move on to our third pick, and I was committed to the AirPods Max getting an update in 2023, and you know what? It didn't happen, and who knows what 2024 will bring. But the AirPods Max, same old for 2023. It's very much like an original HomePod at this point.
You were committed to the update, Apple.
I was.
So with this and the free storage tier pick, I think we should file this away for Jason Voorhees Day, because I know we've gotten some feedback from people who are like, well, it shouldn't be fair. You shouldn't be able to pick the same pick for the next year. I kind of go the other way. I kind of feel like we need like a let it ride function where if you want to keep your bad pick for another year, you get a little bonus if it finally comes true or something.
Like it doubles each year.
Or maybe in addition to your lightning round picks, you get to also let it ride and have extra picks. We'll talk about it in September. But I love that idea.
I've got a lawyer term for you, Jason.
Yeah.
The right of first refusal. I am going to have the right of first refusal on the AirPods Max, which means that neither of you can pick it if I want to pick it again in 2024. That's how it's gonna work.
I like that. That. Okay. And then we'll look at maybe doing something in the rules for a bonus or something in September. But yeah, I think that's right. I think clearly you own these picks, and honestly, they've been so unsuccessful that you are welcome to them.
Yeah,
it's
just like the free storage on iCloud. I want that every single year.
I feel there should be something also if you have picked something in the past and then it comes true the next year that you were just so ahead of your time and you might not have picked it the next time.
Pickies residuals, we call that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, John, what did James pick in round 3?
So James picked that Twitter would go bankrupt, and you know what, James? You're on the right track, but it takes a long time for a company the size of Twitter to go bankrupt, and they're not quite there yet. But I think they'll get there.
I
agree with you. I think they'll get there.
My argument for this, I have two arguments. One, does Twitter exist any longer? No. Twitter as a social media platform doesn't exist.
I mean, the domain is still there, but even if they disappeared, they didn't disappear by going bankrupt is the problem.
Well,
right?
they went morally bankrupt, I think we could say at the very least. But I will cede that this one is not true yet, but I think this could be my residual or whatever for next year.
Right of first refusal. You've got it.
Yeah.
You're welcome to it.
All right. Well, our only point scorer in this particular lightning round was Jason, who said that Apple will not offer iOS sideloading anywhere in the world in 2023, and he was 100% correct.
Yeah, I've decided I don't want to do these for the whole year picks anymore because you can never get 2 for them. You can only get 1. You can never double. Because
that's true. You have to go for those early things,
till right now at the end of the year. But it didn't happen. I thought this is how I thought it would go, right? There were all those stories about them working on sideloading stuff, but it was kind of clear that until they weren't going to roll them out with the OS update, they were going to save them for when they were legally obligated to, maybe in Europe, and maybe that will happen in a few months, but not yet. So I take a point. I'll take it.
I think just the super tanker of sideloading just takes a while to turn.
It does, and it might get wedged in a canal somewhere.
Yes.
It's possible.
In Europe.
Certainly. Okay, pick 4 of the lightning round, which is our 5 picks. John said, this is a real bad round for all of us. John said Apple Arcade will add online multiplayer support for its games.
Nope.
You can pick this every year too and wait and see what happens.
You really could. You could pick anything about gaming and hope for it, and it'll never come true.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit much to think that Apple would become like the Xbox of this kind of thing and add robust multiplayer or any multiplayer.
Well, they should, but they didn't.
Well,
They didn't.
Absolutely.
James, you picked Apple's plans to introduce full encryption for iCloud. Remember, that was a big thing last year. Will face a legal challenge from the U.S. government.
And for once, I'm glad to be wrong. I have turned on the full encryption for all the iCloud stuff. And, maybe the UK government will have a go at that next year. But so far, we're okay.
And proving that I am also an optimistic dreamer at the end of the year, I said Apple will ship a wireless keyboard that is charged by USB-C. And those iMacs were coming out, and I was like, I'm going to get it, and I did not get it.
That seemed like the most obvious pick of all of these. That's going to happen.
Yeah, it really did.
And it didn't.
No.
And my Lightning keyboard is dying right now with my Mac Studio, and I'm just kind of hoping it holds on long enough to get something that's USB-C.
So do it. All right, James, bring us home with the fifth round.
Yep. So John said notes will add linking between notes. Lowercase.
Boom.
And correct. First half of the year, 2 points.
I feel like you sniped this from me too, because this was definitely on my list of things that I thought would happen. But I think you got there right before me, and or maybe I picked it the previous year. I know that I wrote about, I felt like it was coming, and I was surprised that it hadn't come last year. So I'm glad it finally made it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who have been following notes for a while had a feel that this might be coming eventually, and it's finally 2023 was a year, and it was nice to have it.
Yeah, it's a great feature.
I picked that no new product from Apple would ship with a Lightning connector, and dongles didn't count. And I was very close on this. It was because I said new. That was the thing, because they shipped tons of things with Lightning connectors. But again, we were so convinced because we saw it start to happen with the earlier products. And it's like, oh, well, this is all switching to USB-C. So clearly, come all the machines getting revised, will be USB-C everywhere. But no,
but John's ridiculous Apple Pencil or iPad accessory that he got a whole point for is the sign, right? Like, they're not going to do a new product with Lightning. They may keep old Lightning products around for a while, but they're not going to do a new product with Lightning. It's not going to happen. And that dumb pencil is a good example of that. I'm not sore. And you get a point. Yeah, you and John both got points for those
again,
picks.
you've worked out this thing that don't do the negatives, because then you have to wait for the whole year.
Yeah.
And you only get 1 point.
You only get 1 point. It's true.
And Jason, you picked that another new Apple standalone display will ship. Sadly, Apple only does one of those every
5
10
years. Yeah. I was really hoping. I was trying to make that happen. And I was just as wrong with that as I was about the USB-C keyboard, which is funny because I thought that one of them was guarantee and the other one was not going to happen, but I wanted to dream. And I got no points to show for it. None.
Yep.
And that means that after the lightning round, we have a tie. I have 13. John has 13, luckiest number. And James has 11, which, as we know, because maths are useful, is 2 less. And now it is time for the deductions. I will do my quick calculations of our deductions, reminding you your total percentage expressed as a fraction of wrong answers will be multiplied by 5 and deducted from your final score. John and I both got 3 out of 7 wrong, which means the fraction 3/7 ends up multiplying by 5, and you end up with 2.142857145 of a deduction, which means John and I finish with 10.8571428.5 points. John, same numbers as me. James, 4 out of 7 wrong. 4 sevenths times 5. You get 2.85142.855 for a total of 8.142857.145 points. So we're tied after the deductions, Jason and John, with James just 2.71428570.5 points behind us. Great
very
showing,
close.
James. It's so
I
close.
very close.
I did like the fact that both of those numbers have a 42 in them.
They do.
Yeah, they do. They do. It shows that James' powers in maths are everywhere. All right, we now need to recalculate our lightning round picks using the new improved tiebreak procedure, which I'll remind you of now. I am going to flip a coin because I'm the only one who can flip a coin.
It's true.
Yeah, we know that. That's like a given.
Of the misses, if the coin is tails, the incorrect will be regraded by James, since he's not in the tie. James will be using 3 different criteria: passion, precision, and wild card. And after all the regradings of all the wrong answers is complete, the scores will be recalculated and a winner will be proclaimed. All right, James, are you ready to judge us?
Yep, I'm always ready to
All
judge
right.
you.
Let's do John's incorrect ones first. Apple will increase the free storage tier for iCloud. It's tails. So, regrade.
So I get to
James.
judge.
You do,
Well,
you do.
I think this is the real winner of this competition is the person who gets to judge everybody else.
It seems like it. It seems like you're enjoying this.
So I think there is never any passion in a pick about cloud storage. It is literally the most boring thing possible, and particularly this one, which you've picked for the last 10 years.
Doesn't it depend what you're storing in that iCloud storage, James? I mean, come on.
This isn't about you. This is about everyone, and you can't argue with my regrading. So you get 0, no passion. But I would say, as picks go, there was no wiggle room in that statement at all. It was super precise.
It was.
So I would say full third of a point for your preciseness. Now, for the wild card this year, I have decided to roll a set of D100 dice that will give me a percentage value of the allowed quarter point. Straightforward. Each player also has 1 point of inspiration each during this tiebreak, which they can spend at any time during the rest of this regrading in order to re-roll the wildcard dice for either themselves or for the other person.
Oh,
so
can I spend the whole point, or can I spend a fraction of the point?
You have to spend the whole point.
1 inspiration.
And if you both do it, then well, I'm not sure. I guess it gets re-rolled twice.
yes, I think so.
So let's have a go. And I have rolled 87, so you get 87%.
I like
of what is it? It's 87%
Of a quarter of a point, but it doesn't matter, James, because I'm going to use my inspiration right now and make you re-roll that.
Wow.
Because that was too high for your liking.
Too many points for John. I don't want it.
Okay, so that was a correct thing because it is now 13. So 13% of a quarter of a point.
13's my number, but still.
So yeah,
you want to re-roll? You want to use it now, or you want to save it for later?
Save it for later.
Ooh.
Okay.
Because there could be no other, like everything else could come up heads, and then you've thrown away that whole inspiration.
I know. It's just how I'm feeling.
Okay. All right. Well, that is, by my calculations, that has added 0.365833333 recurring to John's total. This is very scientific. I love it. John's next miss was Apple will introduce an update to the AirPods Max. Let's see how the coin goes. It's heads, no regrading.
Lucky.
And John's last mistake was Apple Arcade will add online multiplayer support for its games, which it didn't do. But now I'm going to flip the Relay FM Challenge coin. Tails.
Yes.
Another regrading.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think online multiplayer is a very passionate thing. Perhaps it is often too passionate. But I'm going to give you the full half point. And, you know, there is some vague wiggle room in this pick. You know, does it mean they have to add it to every single one of their games? You know, just more than one? You know, what actually counts as multiplayer? So this is a bit sort of vague, but I will give you a quarter of a point for that.
All right.
And we have the wildcard dice, which I will say that I am using some sliced fruit dice that were from the Relay FM dice advent calendar that was made for me by the Break Room channel.
Nice.
And they are very nice indeed. And, 81%.
Well, nothing I can do to stop that.
No. Do you want to re-roll that, John?
No, I'm going to let it stand.
All right. I think that was wise on your part. Okay. Well, that is another 0.9525 points for John by my calculations. That's pretty good. You got most of your points back for that one. All right. My turn to flip for my own picks. My first wrong pick, an Apple executive, Eddie Q. I did Where's Waldo on the MLS Cup. Couldn't find Eddie Q. So heads or tails? It's heads. We're not regrading that one. That's bad for me. Apple will ship a wireless keyboard that is charged by USB-C. Oh, I flipped it onto a cat. Let's flip it again. Tails, regrade.
Okay. So, I mean, I think this pick, it's all about the raw power flowing into the keys and then out again as your words. You know, what could be more passionate than that? I think you get the full half a point.
I felt it.
Yeah. Also, I mean, this is an exactly defined pick. You know, can't argue with it. Third of a point of precision. But let's see what the dice say. Oh, this is unprecedented. It is literally 100%.
Well,
Now, how mean do you feel, John?
I say you re-rolled that.
Yeah, I think so.
I kind of
I think that's kind of a given.
It's very rare that I roll 100 on these dice.
I know, and yet we've ruined it. John ruined it.
So,
and it is now 5%.
oh, well, there we go.
Oh, so painful. All right. Well, that by my
You
calculations
bracketed that one well, James.
means I have received 0.84583 recurring points for the wireless keyboard. Feels like this is going to come down to this last pick here. If it's heads, I think John's going to have this one in the bag. If it's tails, it's a much closer and more dramatic thing. But I'm going to let the coin decide. Well, everybody, let's take a break, and then we'll tell you the result. I'm doing that thing here. Let's hear from Stephen Hackett again, because we're not allowed to read our ads, with our next sponsor.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Nom Nom. Nom Nom really cares about your dog's digestion. They have an especially extensive pet microbiome database to help create better recipes for every breed, size, and digestive sensitivity. Nom Nom delivers freshly made dog food with every portion personalized for your dog's needs so you can bring out their best. And it's all made with the real wholesome ingredients you can see and recognize, without any additives or fillers that contribute to bloating and low energy. That's because Nom Nom uses the latest science and insight to make real, good food for dogs. Our nutrient-packed recipes are designed by board-certified veterinary nutritionists, freshly made, and are shipped free to your door. It is so important to make sure our dogs are well nourished and taken care of. They're important parts of our family. I know our dog Eva certainly is. And as Eva has aged, she's getting a little bit older now, we've had to revisit her diet a couple of times. And with Nom Nom, that's easy to do. Nom Nom has already delivered more than 40 million meals to good dogs like yours, inspiring millions of clean bowls and tail wags. Plus, Nom Nom comes with a money-back guarantee. If your dog's tail isn't wagging within 30 days, Nom Nom will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Nom Nom. Go right now to get 50% off your no-risk 2-week trial at trynom.com/connected. That's spelled trynom, TRYNOM. trynom.com/connected for 50% off. Our thanks to Nom Nom for their support of the show and keeping our dogs very happy.
Thank you, Stephen. And now it is my sad duty to report that I flipped, and it was heads, which means I get no more corrections and regrading, which means that the final scores, I have 11.702,978,618 points. John has 12.17547,618, which means by 0.4725 points, John Voorhees is Grand Admiral Pickerton. Please place his magnet at the center of the refrigerator door. Second place, me in the lower left corner, and James in the lower right corner. If you are using the official Pickies app or the Clockwork Pickies trophy, you will see the magnets moving momentarily. Congratulations to James for having a positive score, and to John for winning. Oh, John, good job.
Thank you all so much. I'm gonna cherish this throughout 2024 is all I can say.
You gotta.
Yeah. Sadly, that was not my only positive that I got this month.
Yeah. Reference acknowledged. All right. Time for our 2024 picks.
So as I've been instructed by connectedintro.com/new picks, it's time for us to make our picks for next year. And Jason, can you flip the coin?
Yes. The winner, as we know, goes second in this round. And I will flip a coin to determine who goes first and who goes third. James, Call the coin, heads or tails?
I'm going to say heads.
So much coin flipping.
It's heads.
I control the coins.
So James will go first, and I will go last in this round. And that means let's go to 2024. First round worth 3 points, double if it's in the first half of the year. James, it's your choice.
Okay, my pick is Apple allows a third-party app store on the phone somewhere in the world.
Europe, though, right? It's going to be Europe.
It's probably going to be Europe, but, like,
Canada.
It could be Peru. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's a good pick. I think that's a good pick. All right. For me, I'm going to pick that the Vision Pro will be released in the first calendar quarter of 2024. Not an incredibly passionate pick.
No.
But I think a very safe pick.
Yeah.
Could be.
Could be. I think, unless there's a thing. It's sounding more and more like it is going to be in the first calendar quarter, but you never know with that Vision Pro.
You never know. It sounds like February. I think the first couple of weeks of February, but we'll see.
All right. I don't know how much passion there is here, but as we choose this, I think that there is a real mystery about what's going to happen. I am going to pick that the Apple Watch Ultra 2 will go back on sale because it's not on sale now in the U.S.
And if I were to tag onto that pick, Jason, I would say it'll go on sale by January 31st because it's likely that the next earnings call will be on February 1st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm definitely looking for the double points here. And so are you.
Definitely.
So,
do you think that they are just going to software update to switch off the sensor?
I don't. I think they'll pay off Massimo.
Yeah, I think there'll be a settlement of some sort. That's what I think. But, turning off the sensor is part of the leverage to do the negotiations, right? I think ultimately with saying, oh, well, we've got a software patch and we're going to use that and all of that.
Right.
John, you're the lawyer here. I think it's hard not to look at anything that is said right now from any perspective other than who gives it, more leverage to drive the settlement.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely how you have to look at it. And the fact of the matter is that we don't see all the leverage that's being exerted right now. I'm sure there are things happening that we don't know about, but based on what we know publicly, Massimo's in a pretty good place. And I think that Apple will eventually cave because you're not going to have your biggest market unavailable to you for your two latest watches, I don't think.
So we have some real-time follow-up.
Real-time follow-up.
in that the ban has already been paused by the U.S. Appeals Court.
There you go.
So I don't know what that means because it didn't happen in 2024.
Yeah, you're right. Interesting.
Wow.
What do you?
So
I'm going. How about this? I'm going to amend my pick to say
after the news, you're going to amend your pick.
I mean, I have to, right? Don't I?
I guess you do.
I'm going to say the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is on sale in the U.S. on, let's say, March 1st, which means that there's still a randomness about, are they going to lose the appeal? Are there going to be a settlement and all of that? I'll push it out a little bit and say, like, on that date, I give them 2 months to resolve this and work it out. Because I feel bad for
the Federal Circuit and the people working there who are actually having to deal with Apple Watches on
December
22nd. Like 2 days after Christmas.
Well, are you guys okay with that? And with me sort of like pushing it out 60 days and saying we'll see what the status is of this in 60 days?
I think that makes it so that we're not quibbling over wording.
Yeah. No, that's good to me. I like that.
I will make a new pick if you want, but I think that makes it random enough.
I think we're civilized people here.
We
don't need to.
Thank you. All right, second round, James.
So my pick is the Vision Pro finally goes on sale in Scotland.
Oh,
and this is, who knows? I mean, I think it's going to happen. Like they've said that it's going to be in the UK by the end of the year.
Right.
But does the UK mean one store in London?
In London, right.
Like, can I, I mean, of course I'll have my Vision Pro since John will have already sent
Big
it.
Vision Pro,
but
yeah.
Will I be able to walk into a store somewhere in Scotland and buy one? And I don't know. So I think there's a certain like unknownness to my pick.
I feel like you're really probably not going to be getting double points for this, right? Like if it happens, probably
no. I mean, like I'm doing these picks for passion.
It's good passion.
Points.
Scottish pick is strong passion.
Yep.
I can feel the passion from here. Honestly,
Jason and I are clearly playing for the first half of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like next year, I'm going to write myself a note that's like play tactically, because no.
Or we can change the rules about the first half of the year if we really want to, but that'll have to wait till September. So
it will. All right, my second round pick is that 2024 will see the return of a March Apple event.
Ooh.
And of course, this is by definition a first half of the year pick, but we've gone 2 full years without a March event. And historically, Apple has done a March event in oftentimes various locations, not necessarily in California. There was one year it was in Chicago. There was another year it was in New York. Oftentimes it involves the lower end of the iPad lineup in education. But I think that 2024 is going to be a packed year for hardware and that there's going to be a need for more events and that March will return to the calendar.
All right.
And what are we defining as an event?
Either an in-person or, streamed Apple event that announces basically products.
So let's say, keynote. Could we just define it maybe as being, it's a thing where they send out invitations in advance?
Yeah, that's fine.
They announce they're going to do it in advance because, like, they could drop a video anytime, but what they tend to do is say, "Oh, well, next."
Yeah, I'm not
Tuesday.
talking about press releases or press releases or random videos.
It's only an event,
right?
I
like the riskiness of this. It is a packed year, and it does feel like that this is probably a thing that's going to happen, especially if they've got all the iPads and they've got a bunch of Macs doing M3 that they need to do. They got the Vision Pro maybe coming out in February or late January. Like, I like the passion though, because they could just as easily do it in late February or early April and you get nothing.
And it could be that they do like Vision Pro in February and say, well, we're not going to do the next one in March. We'll wait till May.
Yeah. We're going to be very busy the first half of the year, I think.
It's going to be a big year. Yep. Going to be busy. Okay, I'm going full passion with this next pick. I pick that the new Apple Pencil Pro is introduced.
I like this pick. Very nice pick
too.
Because I'm not just saying that there'll be a new Apple Pencil introduced. I'm saying Apple Pencil Pro because I want them to clear up what's going on with the Apple Pencil, with the USB-C and the Apple Pencil 2 and all of that. And I feel like having a Pro and non-Pro pencil, because that USB-C Apple Pencil is a non-Pro pencil, and putting lots of cool new tech in the Apple Pencil Pro to go along with the iPad Pro feels like it could happen. It's always dangerous to do naming picks, but I feel like not only do I want this to happen for a bunch of different reasons, I think that there's a good likelihood that it will. So I'm going to put my 2 points down on it.
I would like Apple to be selling at least 4 models, all called Apple Pencil. Just because.
Apple Pencil 1, Apple Pencil 2, Apple Pencil USB-C, and then Apple Pencil, let's say 4, and there's not a 3. That would be great, right? Or
just go to 5. 5 sounds better.
Yeah, with Thunderbolt 5.
Yeah, a Thunderbolt pencil. That's what people want.
Why not?
It has just a cord, Thunderbolt cable coming out the end of it that snakes through your house to your Mac, and you use it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, time for the lightning round. Here we go.
Okay, round 1. My pick. A Mac is introduced with a brand new form factor. Now, I realize this is somewhat woolly. I think, like, if it's recognizably the same as an existing thing, but like bigger, smaller, whatever, I don't think that counts.
Is there a laptop? Is there a laptop that could be a new form factor?
Well, I'm thinking, like imagine like a laptop that transforms, the kind of like flip it back.
It could also be like maybe a tablet or detach the keyboard or
something like that. Or, it's like a completely new case. Like, say they do a Mac Pro that it's in a completely different box. Doesn't look like the old Mac Pros.
So, what's the limit here? Is it if the ports change, it's obviously not a new form factor. If the dimensions change, but it's basically the same, like the 15-inch MacBook Air a brand new form factor?
I wouldn't say so. I think all right. I would say, we can get in an arbiter of this, but I think it's something that an average person will look at it and they'll say, no, that is something new.
All right. So the M2 Air is a new form factor from the M1 Air, but the 15-inch is not from the M2
That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. Like a 32-inch iMac, not so much.
James, if I'm just telling you now, I love this pick mostly because there's no way this is happening.
I know that. It is one of those. It is. I want it to happen. Therefore, I will pick.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little maths equation here. It's 1,000,000 points for passion times 0.
Wow.
John, what's your pick?
All right. So my pick is that personal automations are going to come to macOS finally. Shortcuts. I don't know. I'm very disappointed in shortcuts in a lot of ways these days. Personal automations have been a thing on iOS for a while, iPadOS as well. We don't have them on the Mac. It feels like the Mac is where they should be even before those other platforms because more people have an always on Mac than they have an always on iOS device. But hey, it hasn't happened. And I think 2024 though, we'll see things like personal automations that allow you to run shortcuts on a schedule, if nothing else.
That would be like the minimum that they would do. But
right. I mean, there are lots of solutions, third-party solutions for this kind of stuff, but I'd like to see it built into the system.
I really don't know where Apple's head is in terms of automation right now, right?
It's very confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. But I love it. I want to believe, John.
All right.
I want to believe it. And that's kind of like a notes linking thing. I mean, it is a feature on other platforms, so it feels like it could be just sort of a fairly quick win for them to put that on macOS, but they haven't done it yet. So you're like, well, is there something that's holding it up? Which is exactly how I felt about the notes thing. I was like, why didn't they do it last year? But they did finally do it. So maybe this is the year. I'm going to do a little bit of a wild pick here for my lightning round first. I'm going to just spell it out. M3 MacBook Air introduced. M2 MacBook Air discontinued, M1 MacBook Air remains. So the idea there is they're going to keep the cheap one, but they're not going to let you buy a discounted M2 Air. If you want the nice new form factor, you're going to need the M3. I don't know. I mean, they could do whatever, but like that's where I'm putting my my little flippable coin here. I'm putting it down on that. The M1 Air remains. The M2 Air goes away.
Yeah, I mean, I think there just isn't as much differentiating the M3 Air and the M2
Right?
Air. So you want that, you want people to look at that initial one and go, nah, I don't want that.
Yeah, it's holding down the low end there.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Okay. Round 2, James.
So my round 2 pick is an original Apple TV Plus show or movie is released in 3D. And, I think there's been some rumblings of perhaps there's something, like that Monarch show. I think there was some talk that might be 3D stuff with that. But I think they're going to need content for the Vision Pro, and they can buy stuff in, sure.
Yeah.
But they give us the Doctor Who 50th anniversary.
I think there have been some reports. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer that they're going to put existing 3D material available for like purchase or rent or whatever, and maybe even convert your iTunes purchases to, the 3D version if it's available and you've got a Vision Pro. But this pick is really interesting because it's like Apple's going to put its money where its mouth is. Like no TV shows, for example, are done in 3D, right?
Yeah.
But Apple might do it for Vision Pro, and it would probably not be. The rumors with Monarch are that they did like a 3D camera. My guess is that the truth is more like they're gonna do what they do with movies, which is they do a 3D conversion where somebody sits there and generates a after the fact a depth version of it. But also the idea that maybe they've got a movie animation or live action. I mean, so many of their live action stuff is with prestige directors who probably don't want a 3D conversion of their movie. Although Martin Scorsese made maybe the best 3D movie of all.
That's true.
But probably Killers of the Flower Moon is not going to be in 3D. So I don't know. I like the passion of this pick because it's a little bit of a leap to say no. Apple's going to do it. One of its products is going to be in 3D.
And I think if they release like one of their existing shows, like if say Monarch or whatever, I'm going to argue that counts. But I think that they're going to do new stuff. We'll see. I mean, maybe we get the 3D conversion of Ted Lasso, so we can see footballs flying towards you.
Ted in 3D. That's what we need.
Yeah. Who knows? All right, I am going to continue the theme here and pick that the Quad Box is going to expand in 2024 to include other kinds of content. So, maybe you want to watch 4 news channels at once, or maybe you want to watch the baseball, your baseball game and the news at the same time. Why limit it to sports? Let's allow people to put whatever they want in the Quad Box.
Oh, John, I want this feature so much. I want tvOS to be able to take video streams and just multi-display them.
Anything.
That would be so good. My fear is that the app developers aren't going to use whatever API would be supported, although a bunch of them do support picture-in-picture, but this would be so much better if I've got just the other day, there was a game on Peacock, and I was like, I can't, this happens in the fall with college football where there's a soccer game that's on, and it's only on Peacock, and I want to watch it because it's going on along with these college football games, and you can't do it because if you go out of one app to the other app, they're not in the Quad Box together. They can't do that.
Right. And the reason I think this might be different than other things is that all these companies are going to tell themselves what people really want to watch is our show. So as soon as we're in the Quad Box, people are going to switch to us and we're going to be the only thing that they're watching. So I think that there's an incentive there for some of these other streaming services to join the Quad Box.
All right.
Yeah.
Mine is going to be a live sporting event is transmitted immersively to Vision Pro users. I don't know what, and I don't know how long. I don't know anything. Probably MLS. I don't know whether this technology really exists to do something that can do immersive video live streaming. Can they make that work? But I think they're going to try. So I'm going to put some money down on that one.
So round 3. I am saying an iPad will be introduced with a bigger screen than we have seen before. So I'm thinking, this has been one that's going on for many years, that we'll get a 13-inch iPad Pro or something like that to kind of push it away from the cheaper end of the iPad line. So I think we're going to get a big iPad.
Yep. Sounds good.
Well, I'm going to push back on this one because I think we're going to get OLED, and I think that's going to increase the price of the Pro enough that Apple's not going to do a bigger screen.
Well, we shall see.
Oh, I guess so.
Just saying. Sorry to rain on your parade there, James.
I mean, there is some rumor that it's going to be a 13, and it's currently 12.9.
Right.
That would be a bigger screen.
That's what it counts.
We'll see. John?
All right. Well, all right. So the Vision Pro is going to be reintroduced at an event this year that includes an appearance by Eddie Q, but he's not going to dance. That's my pick. Okay. Just to expand on that a little bit, not graded, is that Eddie Q will be there to tell us all about the great entertainment stuff that we can do, you know, whether it's sports or movies or TV or music or whatever it happens to be. But he learned his lesson. He's not going to dance again.
I mean, when I'm regrading this false pick next year, I think you'll get lots of points for precision.
Yes.
This is very precise.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to happen, but it is very precise. I love it. Who will not dance? He dances, even a little bit. A little shake.
Yeah.
The pick's no good.
Just enough for a GIF.
I'm going with, my pick is going to be about a new iPad Magic Keyboard that has a function row. All right. Is it going to be backlit? I don't know. I didn't want to pick two things, so I can pick a function row. It's going to have a function key row. They're going to do it. Like every other Apple keyboard has a function key row, and as an iPad user and a Magic Keyboard user, I hate that I can't adjust brightness and control media and volume and stuff. While my hands are down on the keyboard, I have to reach up and use Control Center, and I don't like it. And so I'm hopeful that when they're doing all this work to do a new Magic Keyboard, they will add a function row. Like a laptop.
They're going to spite you, and it's going to have a touch bar.
I don't like that at all. All right, round 4. Lightning. James.
Okay. I say Apple ships some form of generative AI, either text or image generation, for example. I think this is possibly slightly woolly because what is generative AI? What is AI? What is intelligence? But I think they're going to do something because everybody's doing it and they're going to want to have some system. But they will say it's ethical and they will say, you know, we're not stealing the food from the mouths of artists and writers because it's been trained entirely on the photos of Apple employee kids.
I mean, it might be like simple reply suggestions in messages or in not even messages, in mail, something like that, like Gmail does, where it's more than autocorrect or autocomplete. It's I will write some sentences for you. I think it's the most likely scenario here.
Yeah,
they're going to try.
I think they'll do something, and I think if they don't do something, this WWDC where they're shouting AI loudly, people are going to say, "Oh, Apple is just out of touch now."
All right. Well, for my pick, I'm picking that the iPad Pro is going to get a second USB-C compatible port. I'm not saying it's going to be Thunderbolt. I'm saying it's going to have the same shape as USB-C. So whatever that means, whatever speed it happens to be, I think we'll get a second port on the device itself.
I hope you're right. I love this world that you're building here. Maybe, not Eddie Q doesn't dance. The quad box gets power, and the iPad Pro gets a second.
It's all very serious business, Jason. Very serious business.
I want it. I want that. I don't actually think the iPad needs a second port, but it would fill that whole idea of like what makes it an iPad Pro, which is it's more of a laptop, and this would do that too. So I think that's right. I want it to be true.
What if they put it on the Magic Keyboard?
That's why I say it has to be on device, not on the keyboard, not on an accessory.
Right.
And my pick is a new Apple AI assistant is unveiled, but it's still called Siri.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, are they going to stick a large language model inside Siri and ship it? I'm would be fascinated because like Siri is terrible.
It really
like,
is.
Any question, like we do it every now and again, and we say, who was the person who did this thing? And Siri will either say, I have found some results on the web, which I really can't tell you about.
Yes.
Or it'll just, like, I have no idea. And I would like to see that. Unfortunately, the other thing with the large language models is they lie, like, a lot.
Although they're getting better when they're using trusted data sources, and so the idea here that you use it as the mediation for your trusted data sources, that Siri already has those trusted data sources, right? And you have it look up things and converse with you. I don't know. I say unveiled here because it may be like a beta that you have to turn on, and it's not really available until later in the year. But they're gonna say that they're gonna do it and still use the brand value, whatever that is, of Siri. Because I don't think they're gonna throw. Apple, we all say Siri sucks, but like I don't think they're gonna throw away the Siri branding. Like people know what it is, so they can just say this is new Siri. It's better now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to stick around. And the thing is that Apple is supposedly negotiating right now with the New York Times and a bunch of other news outlets to use their data to train a model. And that could be exactly what Jason was describing, which would be a known data source that is more accurate and could be called Siri.
I like calling it New Siri.
Siri.
You just have to say, hey, New Siri.
Hey, New Siri. Hey, Beta Siri. Okay.
All right, round 5. My pick is Apple introduces some form of new display technology. And we're talking like folding screens, mini LED, holographic, beaming directly into your brain, something like that. It's going to be some product has a brand new display technology that we have not seen on an Apple product before.
A lot of passion there. A lot of passion. I like the passion.
All right. I've got a gaming one. I couldn't go this year without coming up with some sort of gaming pick. And mine is that Death Stranding and or Hideo Kojima will appear in more than one Apple event in 2024. Now, Apple has a long history of favoring one game over all the others. And for a long time now, it's been Capcom and Resident Evil Village. Mm-hmm. And it seems like Lies of P may have become Apple's new best friend, right? Yes. But I think Death Stranding, which reportedly is coming out early in 2024, originally supposed to have come out this year, is going to be the new thing because Kojima is just a hot commodity. Everybody loves having him on stage and having his games and other projects associated with their brand. I think that Apple's going to go really hard on the Kojima angle here. Although I could see this going the other way because he's pretty tightly associated with Microsoft right now. So it could be that Apple's not as good a friend as Microsoft is, but I'm hoping that will be what we see in 2024.
Okay,
and what says
with Liza Poo.
And what says more about Apple and gaming than talking about a 5-year-old game?
A 5-year-old game where what you basically do is walk around with a baby strapped to your stomach.
Yep.
That's what it is. All right, I'll wrap us up. Round 5 pick is Apple makes another sports rights related deal. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know where it's going to be. Is it a league deal? Is it a 3D Vision Pro rights deal, sub deal? I don't know. They didn't make one this year, but I think maybe next year's the year, and I think it's worth throwing it in because Apple is interested in live sports. They are. They just haven't done it. So we'll see if they do it. And that's it.
All right.
Well, I think there's some interesting picks there. I think I need to be more tactical in my picks, and you've all reminded me about this.
Damn it, James, you finally figured that out. John and I have been enjoying it.
It only took me like however long we've been doing this show, 15 years.
Yeah. Coming up 20.
I like your sports pick, Jason, because I feel like Apple is like ESPN in the early days, like ESPN in the 80s, where all they showed was like second tier college sports.
Yeah, and Australian rules football.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's us. That is the Pickies for 2023. Next week, of course, we have the Connected Year in Review episode, as always.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be, I think, a really good one. We're rating all 26 fortnights of 2023, and that's not the game, based on the famous Voorhees scale. Don't need to remind the regular listeners, but it goes like this. At the bottom, you have worst I hate you, then awful, awful plus, just below average, just above average, believe max, At the very top, of course, Dream. I believe we have an illustration of it, which has just gone into the Discord.
Yeah.
Thank you. And yes, the triple threat of the Triple J will return in 2024 when you most expect it.
The threat never goes away.
Yeah, I would like to say thanks again to John for being here and shipping me so many things.
Well, and I would like to thank Jason for being here, too. Thanks for being here, Jason.
ACC. Who's excited about a conference?
We are united in our 2025 sports ball watching.
Oh, man. And I would like to say thanks to James, who is going to learn a lot about maths in 2024.
Yeah, I'm going to win next year purely because of this book.
All right. And that's the show. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you in 2024.
Bye.
Bye.